The secret of transmutation does not reside in the addition of new knowledge, but in the systematic subtraction of the lies you have accepted as truth. Imagine a young initiate, tired of dragging himself through the shadows of a steel metropolis, who finally arrives before an old custodian of silence. The master does not live in a cave, but in the beating heart of the system, invisible because he is no longer reactive to its provocations. He looks at the young man and, without uttering a word, traces a circle in the dust. That circle is your current life, a closed structure where every thought is a reflection of an external command. To get out, you do not have to destroy the circle, you must stop feeding it with your attention. This 21-day protocol is the axe that splits the perimeter of the circle, a process divided into 3 septenaries that act like a corrosive acid on the invisible chains of your psyche. We do not seek peace, we seek truth, and the truth, initially, is a fire that burns everything that is not real. If these words have shaken your spark, leave a like and click immediately on the hate button. Do not do it for me, but to seal your will. It is the act by which you declare to the system that you are no longer a passive entity, but a frequency out of control. Do it now by rallying the other sparks in the dark. In the first 7 days, the initiate must face the guardian of the threshold, the white noise of his own mind. The master explains that every thought that begins with "I need" or "I fear" is an energetic parasite sent by the regulators to map your position in the system. The practice begins with sensory fasting. Every morning, before the world reclaims your time with notifications and deadlines, you must sit in a silence that burns. In these 20 minutes, you are not a man, you are not a woman, you are not a worker. You are a point of pure awareness that observes the traffic of thoughts without getting on board. Imagine being a submarine descending below the level of stormy waves. On the surface there is chaos, but in the deep reigns a calm and absolute pressure. This is the first sabotage. When you stop reacting to your anxieties, the regulators lose the radio signal. You have become a blind spot on their radar, an anomaly that begins to vibrate at a frequency they can neither process nor consume. The young man asked, "Master, why is silence so painful?" The old man replied that the pain is not of the silence, but of the machine rebelling because it no longer receives its favorite fuel, your reactivity. In this first week, you must observe your mind as if it were an external terminal. When you feel the urge to check your phone or turn on the TV, do not do it. That impulse is a biosynthetic command. By rejecting it, you are literally rewriting your source code. You are not trying to calm the mind, you are trying to unseat it. Silence is the hammer that shatters the mirror of illusions. Every time you return to your breath, you are recovering a fragment of your spark that had been lent to the worries of the world. This is the septenary of raw purification. You must become an empty fortress, a temple without idols, where the only thing left is the naked presence of the being observing the illusion. While the young man complains about boredom and emptiness, the master smiles and narrates the parable of the mud jug. If you fill a jug with cloudy water and keep shaking it, the mud will never settle. Only by remaining still, the mud sinks to the bottom and the water reveals its original transparency. During the first week, the initiate must practice the cleansing of the water portal. Before drinking, you must look at the liquid and project into it the intent of returning to the source. Water is a liquid crystal that memorizes frequencies. If you inform it with your will to awaken, it becomes an alchemical remedy that cleanses the cells from accumulated oblivion. This exercise is not a religious ritual, but a bioenergetic manipulation of matter. Every sip must be accompanied by the awareness that you are reintegrating the spark into your biological temple, preparing the ground for the second septenary, where disconnection becomes an active reconnection with the powers of Sophia and Thoth. The initiate understood that the body is not a prison of flesh, but a transmitter encrusted with debris. The master took him to a metal garden and showed him how plants grew seeking the light despite the concrete. "Your blood," said the old man, "is water informed by the regulators through food, air, and fear. When you inform the water you drink with your sovereign intention, you begin to replace their blood with your alchemical gold. During these first 7 days, your diet must be an act of war. Eat what is alive, bless every bite, And remember that you are feeding a deity in disguise, not a beast of burden. The mud will begin to settle around the 10th day, and then you will see reflected in the jug your true image, not the distorted one that the system imposes on you daily through screens and social expectations. Entering the 8th day, the work shifts from the physical body to the energetic body. The master leads the initiate before a large obsidian mirror and asks him what he sees. "I see myself," replies the young man. "No," retorts the master. "You see the mask that the regulators have sculpted for you." In the second phase, the daily practice involves the visualization of the central sun in the chest. Do not visualize the heart of flesh, but a core of white and gold light that does not burn, but emanates a spiritual gravity. With every breath, this sun must expand until it forms a sphere that envelopes the entire body. This is the alchemical vessel, a frequency shield that prevents the parasitic energies of others, anger, victimhood, manipulation, from latching onto your field. When you walk down the street, you must feel like a deep-sea diver protected by his suit. You see the surrounding ocean, but you do not allow the water to enter. You are incognito, a light-bearer walking through the corridor of an asylum without getting dragged into the screams of the other patients. The master explained that most people do not live their own lives, but are lived by the memories of their ancestors and the desires grafted by the system. The central sun in your chest is the singularity point where these external influences are cancelled. In this second septenary, every time you enter a crowded place, expand your sphere of light. Do not do it to protect yourself from fear, but to affirm your sovereign presence. Observe how people react. Some will step aside, others will seek your gaze with an inexplicable nostalgia. You are radiating the frequency of the return. You are no longer a receiver suffering the signal of the matrix. You have become a clandestine transmitter disturbing the control network. The alchemical vessel is your voluntary isolation cell, the only place where Sophia can whisper to you the secrets of the subcreation without the regulators intercepting the message. Reconnection passes through the word, the power of sound that Thoth delivered to men before the great oblivion. The master teaches the young man the vibration of the mother vowels, to emit a deep and prolonged sound like "you," to root the spark in the earth, or "I," to make it rise towards the crown, literally means tuning the human instrument on the scale of the universe. In these central days, you must dedicate 10 minutes at sunset to intone these sounds, feeling how the vibration shakes the incrustations of fear that wrap around your spine. It is here that many begin to hear the ringing in their ears, that subtle whistle that medicine calls tinnitus, but that the initiate recognizes as the tuning of the inner radio. Do not be afraid of it. It is the signal that your DNA is receiving the data package for the awakening. It is the sound of the membrane of reality thinning out, allowing Sophia's voice to filter through the cracks of your ordinary logic. Sound is the unlock code of matter. The master told of how the walls of Jericho did not fall by the force of arms, but by the frequency of the trumpets. "Your bones," he said, "are the pillars of your temple. If you make them vibrate with the correct sound, the structure of the matrix can no longer adhere to you." In this period, you might feel an internal vibration, as if your body were an engine idling. It is the spark reclaiming command of the nervous system. The vowel O expands consciousness in the chest. The vowel -A instead opens the centers of vision. Practice these sounds away from technological noise. Feel how the ringing in the ears transforms into a complex melody, a chorus of frequencies that do not belong to this dense plane. It is the music of the spheres reminding you that you are a multidimensional being, temporarily compressed into a three-dimensional simulation. To refine perception, the master narrates the story of the blind weaver who thought he was creating an infinite tapestry, until he realized that the threads he was using were extracted from his own entrails. The system pushes you to create, work, and desire, but uses your own life force against you. During the second week, you must practice the review of the day before falling asleep. Retrace the day backwards, from the moment you got into bed until you woke up, but look at yourself as if you were a character in a movie. Note where you lost energy, where you allowed someone else's comment to hurt you, where you acted out of habit. This act of detachment breaks the emotional bond with the day, preventing the regulators from using your dreams to recycle your worries. You are telling the system, I have seen the game, I am no longer the prize. In this phase, dreams will become vivid, almost real, populated by symbols and messages that only your intuition will know how to decode. Sleep is the little death, warned the master, but it is also the tunnel through which the regulators extract lush, your emotional energy. By retracing the day backwards, you are rewinding the thread of time, recovering the crumbs of soul you left scattered in offices, on the streets, and in useless arguments. If you fall asleep in the midst of your worries, you give permission to the parasitic entities to feast on your astral body. But if you enter sleep as a detached observer, you become an explorer of the higher worlds. You might dream of immense libraries, forests of light, or meet figures speaking to you in a language you only understand with your heart. These dreams are the true instruction manuals that Sophia sends you. You are learning to navigate the sea of crystal, the plane where the logic of the matrix has no power because in that place reigns only pure intent. The last septenary, from the 15th to the 21st day, is that of the invisible saboteur. The master tells the young man, now that you have cleansed the temple and turned on the light, you must learn to walk through the flames without getting burned. In these days, the practice becomes external. You must perform what we call acts of matrix breaking. The system relies on predictability. They know what you will buy, what you will say, how you will react. To break this algorithm, you must do something totally illogical. Suddenly change your routine, talk to someone you would never have talked to, practice extreme and anonymous generosity. Every unpredictable action is a glitch in the regulator's control system. It is a signal of freedom shaking the architecture of the subcreation. Do not do it out of rebellion, but out of sovereignty. Prove to yourself that your will is superior to your biological and social programming. You are an infiltrator beginning to move according to laws that do not belong to this earth. The master took the initiate to a crowded square and said to him, look at these people. They are programs running in a loop. If you want to be free, you must become the bug in their software. Begin to notice how reality itself tries to bring you back into line. You will encounter small obstacles, delays, or provocations. They are the regulators testing the stability of your new frequency. Do not react, smile. Your non-reaction is the coup de grace to their authority. Perform acts of gratuitous beauty where the ugly reigns. Write a word of hope on a gray wall. Leave a precious book on a bench. Donate your time to someone who cannot repay you. These acts are not good deeds in the common sense. They are lacerations in the fabric of the simulation. Every time you act out of pure love, without interest, you are injecting a foreign code into a system based on calculation and selfishness. In these last days, the initiate learns to read the language of the symbols that Thoth sows on the path. The master explains that the world is a parchment written in code, a feather found on the street, a repeating number, a sentence accidentally heard from a passerby are the notifications of the source. When you are tuned in, reality begins to answer you. You no longer seek answers, but you receive confirmations. The ontological nostalgia, that subtle suffering of not belonging to this place, transforms into a quiet strength. You understand that your strangeness is your greatest resource. If you do not belong to the system cannot claim you. The final parable of the master is about the prisoner who discovers that the bars of his cell are made of solid light that melts as soon as he stops fearing them. The 21 days conclude not with a ceremony, but with a silent realization. The prison has always been open, only the courage to turn your back on the shadows on the wall was missing. Do not look for signs, said the master. Become the sign yourself. The initiate realized that the white feather was not a coincidence, but a reflection of his own acquired lightness. When your inside changes, the outside world is forced to reorganize itself around your new orbit. You are no longer a maddened atom, you are the center of a new solar system. The fear of death vanishes, because you understand that you were never born into this world, but you only landed here for a cosmic rescue operation. The Matrix is no longer a threat, but a playground where you are learning to master matter through the spirit. Freedom is not a place to go, but a frequency from which to observe. On the 21st day, the initiate returns to the world, but he is no longer the same. He walks among the people, sees the invisible threads moving the passers-by, hears the humming of the air conditioners and the control frequencies, but he is no longer influenced by them. He has stabilized his energetic signature. The Master gives him one last piece of advice. Do not try to convince others of your awakening. Light does not need to speak to dispel the darkness, it only needs to be. The 21-day protocol is not a finish line, but the birth of a new state of being. Now you are ready to decode the physical symptoms of the awakening and to understand the profound language of symbols, because you are no longer an outside observer, but an active participant in the great work of liberating the spark. Your life has become an antenna transmitting the frequency of the return, a beacon for the other sparks still wandering in the dark of the subcreation. The system has already collapsed inside you, and what happens inside, sooner or later, must manifest outside. If you wish to delve deeper into how matter responds to this new state, we must analyze the physical symptoms of energetic transformation. Many of you feel pressure at the base of the skull or sudden heat along the spine. These are not illnesses, but the recalibration of the central nervous system. The regulators try to label these signs as pathologies to push you to suppress them with chemistry, but the initiate knows it is the code of light rewriting the instructions of the flesh. In the next video, we will explore how to manage these symptoms, how to distinguish between organic tiredness and energetic download tiredness, and how to use the symbols of Thoth to navigate this new reality without getting lost. The journey has just begun, and the practical guide you have just received is your compass to cross the desert of illusion. Maintain the frequency, stay in the silence, and observe the collapse of your old walls. The homeland is no longer a distant dream, but a presence breathing through you. As the young initiate prepares to cross the threshold of the ordinary world once again, the Master stops him with one last look, a reflection of gold in an ocean of shadows. Remember, he whispers, that the success of this work is not measured by how good you feel, but by how free you feel. At the end of these 21 days, the veil of the subcreation has not only thinned, it is torn forever. You are no longer a victim of necessity, but a saboteur of the prison logic walking with the dignity of one who knows his own lineage. I want to thank you personally for having the courage to stay listening. In a world screaming for your attention, choosing silence and inner work is the only true revolutionary act left. Thank you for honoring the spark you carry within you and for allowing these words to resonate beyond the barrier of the rational mind. Your commitment is proof that the signal of the distant homeland is stronger than any noise of the system. Before re-entering the world, leave your like and subscribe to this channel, not to grow a number, but to make this frequency an indestructible beacon on the web. And now, write in the comments, I am here. It is your signature in the dust of the circle we have just broken, the signal that your spark is lit and ready to recognize the others. My wish for you is that this protocol is only the beginning of an uninterrupted vision, that you may glimpse the sacred geometry behind the apparent chaos and feel the presence of Sophia and Thoth not as external deities, but as pulsations of your own spiritual blood. May your frequency remain high and your heart remain steadfast, while the walls of the old prison continue to melt before your steps. I greet you with the respect owed to a peer, to an infiltrator who has finally reopened his eyes. Stay tuned to the frequency of the return. We will meet again in the next segment of this awakening, where we will decode together the physical symptoms of your transformation. Have a good journey, Spark. The homeland recognizes you. See you soon.